On August 4th, Missouri voters go back to the polls. This is not just another election. Every seat in the Missouri House will be chosen this year. Every representative asking for another term, and every candidate asking for your vote, is asking to be trusted with power. But before we decide who deserves that trust, we should remember what happened the last time this House chose its own leader. And before that, we should remember the oath they all swore.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Missouri, and will faithfully perform the duties of my office, and that I will not knowingly receive, directly or indirectly, any money or valuable thing for the performance or non-performance of any act or duty pertaining to my office other than compensation allowed by law. So help me God. Congratulations.
That oath is not ceremonial. It is not a formality. It is a promise to the Constitution, to the office, and to the people of Missouri. So when representatives are given a choice between protecting the people's power or protecting the power structure in Jefferson City, that choice matters. On the first day of the 103rd General Assembly, the Missouri House had that choice. They had two very different visions placed before them. First, the nomination of John Patterson.
Madam Speaker, I'm here to place in nomination Dr. Jonathan Patterson as the next Speaker of the Missouri House of Representatives.
Proceed, sir.
My first time meeting John Patterson was 2.5 years ago. We were playing in a golf tournament together, and he introduced himself to me as John. We had such a good time that day. We made some real lucky shots and really enjoyed each other's company. A couple weeks later, I ran into a mutual friend, and the mutual friend said, John is still talking about that golf game that you guys had together. And I said, as much as we talked and as much fun as we had, I never asked him what he did for a living. I know he's too young to have retired. And she said, well, he's a doctor. And I said, you mean a educator of an administrator or a PhD of education? She said, no, he's a surgeon. And I said, well, he introduced himself to me as just John. And she said, yeah, that's what we all know him in the house. It's either John or JP. Right then and there, I knew this man had his feet firmly planted on the ground. I came to respect him so much when he became the floor leader. In the next 2 years, the talent that he had to keep all of us together and strive to move this state forward. Now, today, we have already elected a floor leader, Alex Riley, Esquire. And Dr. John Patterson could be separated by birth. They all come from the same bolt of cloth. They understand power, but with power they understand humility and kindness because they know, because their parents taught them, that being nice to people does not mean weakness. It doesn't cost anything to be nice. And these two men do that on a daily basis. And I respect both of them as leaders. I believe both of these gentlemen will take us to heights that we've never experienced in this state before. It's an honor and a privilege for me to stand before you and place a nomination, the next Speaker of the House, Dr. Jonathan Patterson.
That was one vision. A speech about personality, relationships, humility, kindness, and keeping the House moving together. Then Representative Bryant Wolfen rose to nominate Justin Sparks. Before you hear the result, listen carefully to the difference. This was not just a nomination speech. It was a warning about where power had gone in the Missouri House. Away from the people, away from the individual members, and into the hands of leadership.
For what purpose does the gentleman from St. Genevieve rise?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to nominate the gentleman from St. Louis County of the 110th District for Speaker of the Missouri House of Representatives for the 103rd General Assembly.
Proceed, gentleman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So I'd like to preface this nomination with a simple reminder of a fundamental truth. A truth that is enshrined in our very own Article 1, Section 1 of the Missouri Constitution. That all political power is vested in and derived from the people. That all government originates from the people, is founded upon their will only, and is instituted solely for the good of the whole. Madam Speaker, these words are just not mere rhetoric. They are the very foundation upon which our government rests. Yet we must ask ourselves, have we stayed true to this principle? Does the power truly remain with the people? The honest answer, Madam Speaker, no, it does not. Over time, power has steadily shifted away from the people and this body, concentrated instead in the hands of a few. Today, the Speaker holds a level of authority that would make even a monarch blush. This is not what self-government looks like. This is not what liberty demands. And this is not what our founders envisioned. Our founders understood the dangers of centralizing power. They knew that the closer the power is to the individual, the better it serves justice, liberty, and the public good as a whole. That wisdom, Madam Speaker, has been forgotten in this chamber. I don't know why on earth that we would allow this. The culture in this building discourages dissent and rewards obedience to leadership over the service to our constituents. From the very start, members are warned not to cross leadership if they want to be very effective. Don't we see an inherent problem with that, Madam Speaker? I don't think it should be this way. I did not come to Jefferson City to serve leadership. I came to Jefferson City to serve the people that sent me here. I also came to do what is right. It is not the Speaker or any other leadership figure who defines what is right and wrong. Right and wrong are determined by principles, not power. And the principle at stake today is whether or not we, as legislators, will reclaim the decentralized representative system that our founders intended, or whether we will continue to concenrate power in the hands of a few. Madam Speaker, there is one candidate in this race who recognizes the need, or that I'm nominating, that recognizes the need for bold reforms. Reforms that will restore the power back to this body, and by extension, back to the people. That candidate is the gentleman from the 110th District. But I must point out, I do not make this nomination lightly. For me, this is not about voting records, nor does it have anything to do with any public statements that have been made. That does not matter. My vote today is driven by a simple belief that Missouri needs change, and voting for that change is the right thing to do. So as I close, I want to leave you with this. Remember, right now, here in Missouri, we continue to pass bloated budgets. We take more money from Missourians than we ever have before. The size of our government continues to grow, and bureaucracy continues to run rampant. So as the saying goes, insanity is doing the same thing over and over, but expecting different results. So, Madam Speaker, I believe Missouri deserves better. I think this chamber deserves better. And for these reasons, I am honored to nominate for the office of Speaker of House of the great state of Missouri, the gentleman from St. Louis County, District 110. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Before we show you how they voted, ask yourself one question. Which direction sounded like the direction Missouri needed? A house where power is centralized in leadership? Or a house where power is returned to the representatives, and through them, back to the people? That was the question in front of them. But then something important happened. Representative Ashley Awney had been nominated as the Democratic candidate for Speaker. She declined the nomination and made clear she believed John Patterson would be a Speaker for the whole House. Listen to what that meant.
Having worked with the gentleman from Jackson the past few years, I am confident that he will be a Speaker for all 163 members of the House of Representatives. And even as he advances the agenda of his party, including things at his side of the room and the Missourians, or this side of the room and the Missourians that we represent will strenuously oppose, I know he will lead this chamber with integrity and a dedication to fairness, and a respect for our institution and all of its members. I therefore decline the nomination.
And with that, the choice became clear. The Democrats did not put up their own candidate. They lined up behind John Patterson. The establishment wing of the Republican majority lined up behind John Patterson. And the members who wanted to challenge the concentration of power in the House were left with one choice: stand or fold. Now listen to the vote. 152 to 10. The House Journal records the vote. The 10 who voted for Sparks were Christensen, Durnell, Elliott, Jordan, Self, Sparks, Titus, Whaley, Wolfen, Wright. Everyone else who voted chose Patterson. Representative Patterson was absent with leave from his own election vote. So remember what you just heard. Representative Wolfen laid out a choice: centralized power, bloated budgets, growing government, and obedience to leadership. Or a House where representatives reclaim their authority and serve the people who sent them there. After hearing that choice, only 10 members voted for that change. Some may say the others were being practical. Some may say they did not want to cross the man who was likely to become Speaker. Some may say they were worried about committee assignments, influence, or whether their bills would move. But that is exactly the point. If fear of leadership is enough to decide a vote for Speaker, what does that tell us about the condition of the House? And if a representative will not stand for the right thing on the very first vote, the vote that determines who controls the chamber, when exactly should the people expect them to stand? This August, candidates will ask for your vote. Some will call themselves conservative. Some will say they fought for you. Some will hope you do not remember how this House began. But the record is there. The oath was sworn. The choice was made. And now the people of Missouri get to make theirs.